Hey everyone, this is Stacy, SF Johnson Consulting and Construction Services, and in this video we are going to discuss wall finishes. And so, just like every other of the finishes, we need to look to the finish plan. And let's go to, here we go. So we're doing the wall finishes. And so in the finish plan, it gives us one of these little boxes for each of the rooms. And so for the walls, it gives us a note 10 we have to look at. And in this room, it appears like the walls are P214 for this room and P202 for this room, and so on and so on. So now, we all know for wall elevations or wall measurements or wall finishes, we always need to look at the elevation views so we can make sure that we aren't doing the takeoff through windows and things that are not being painted. So, wall finishes, the first thing we'll assume is paint, right? That's the largest of the wall finish. We may have tile in the bathrooms, and so, we're going to look at the finish schedule, which tells us all of the different finishes for everything. Okay, so for our wall finishes, we're going to have glass board plus or approved embossed finish. We're just gonna Kimlite non-sales wall covering 163. Okay, so depending on, now you got to go back to your responsibility schedule and fitting rooms. If it's a finish, you've got to go through pretty much this in detail, or look on in the, and I will record that, the finishes portion in the specifications, because I don't really think people know that finishes are its own section in the specs. And so if you are doing any of the finishes, everything about them will be there, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so basically the thing is, you're going to look for at the finish schedule, you're going to find the finish schedule, which should tell us all of our rooms. Now this just tells us all of our finishes. It doesn't tell us all of our rooms, and we've already been through this. So let's see. Responsibility room schedule here. No, that's the doors, and that's the finishes. Now the room should be right here, but this is one of these sets of plans where it's a pain in the butt. And so we'll go to this plan and just know what our wall finishes are. Basically, we got a lot of paint, and then crown and base, so we can include that in the wall finishes. In terms of we'll do that separately, but my thing is, I'm going to do all the paint first, and so I'm going to look at this finish plan and see pretty much what walls are painted within the whole thing. And then, you know what, at that point you just need to go to all of your interior elevations, okay, and look for P dots. Wow, we got to make dots. And then the background, that's interesting. Okay, so if we have to make dots, and that's not like a wallpaper, that is some crazy labor, let me tell you. Okay, so that's crazy. So just know you want to look for stuff like that. So wall bases are getting painted, and so yeah, that's by the linear foot actually, not by the square foot. Okay, any wall base, anything that you buy, but a wall base is a linear total. Okay, so your when it comes to your man hour totals for that, that's not an area for wall base, that's a linear foot total. Because let's go to Let's go to the old good old cost book and put in painting. See, and the good, the beauty, the wonderful thing about this, we can go and do it on a subcontractor. If I'm a GC, I can get subcontractor pricing. Okay, so let's just put it out there. This is recent. This is from this year. So it says typical subcontract cost per square foot of floor area for painting the interior and exteriors of residential buildings, including only, so that's residential. We are in the two something, so you know what difference does it make when it comes to paint? Because your paint is going to be the same 5 gallon cost, you know. Now, when it comes to commercial paint and residential, are you going to use a sprayer? Those are the kind of things you got to watch out for. But something like this, when you have, in this case, we got 50 zillion, gazillion different paints, you're probably going to hand paint it, you know. And because it has to be real pretty and stuff. It's not like a Walmart, you just, you know, it's done. It's got to be like artistically done. All right, so subcontract. Now, work performed by hand, water blasting, pressure washing using a well-mounted. See, that's why a cost book will really do you well, especially in competitive bidding, especially if you need to get them done very quickly. Right? You don't have time for all that other stuff. And two, you don't want to leave the stuff out. And so this is just the cost per square foot. Okay, so that's for that. And then normal cleaning. And then the exterior painting, so that's the prep, right? When you got to prep it. But, you know, new construction, your drywall person needs to have your drywall ready to paint. So, should be only prep would apply to renovations, right? Existing walls. In that demo portion, definitely could use that. Light cleaning, scraping, patching. See, and I use 25 cents per square foot. See, I cheated myself. But two, it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. Oh, wait, no, ours was gypsum. So it's somewhere between 18 and for patching. Okay, existing. That's why you get a cost book. It's a no-brainer. You ain't got to think. Okay? Just got to know how to read it. All right, so here we go with the exterior painting, subcontract. What is this? Estimates below or for handwork. Brush and roller cost will be 15 to 30% lower when you spray, right? Of course, because the labor is you just holding the spray as opposed to sweating your butt off, right? All right, so brick, they break it down. Doors, 2 coats, 3 coats, and that's the cost per door. See, so bam. So your subcontractor knows. And when I want to be lazy, which isn't often, but subcontractor price, we'll use that. So 1 coat of latex, 2 coats latex, 2 coats. And so you figure, you know, you gotta incorporate your primer. I think that's down here, maybe somewhere. 1 coat of primer, stucco, and all the different types of finishes. So siding, roofs, porches, metal, lattice work. Of course, that's going to be more, not too far off because, you know, that's an intricate whatever. And that's the cost per square foot. Handrails, linear foot, $1.22. So this is paint and labor, subcontract per linear foot, per square foot. Okay, and let me go into where it's just labor and show you what the labor is per coat, because I've had it in my cost book in my thing so long I don't even know where to find it here anymore. Let's see. Interior painting. Okay, yeah. No, we don't want a subcontractor. We want here we go. Labor. Painting labor. Single cost applications except as noted. And not including, this is just the labor, not including the paint and everything, just the labor, right? So exterior surfaces per coat. Okay, so you're going to times it by what? 3. You're going to times everything by 3. Okay, because you're doing 3 coats. Keep that in mind. These called 0.004 would be 0.01, well, 12 for a ceiling per coat. So keep that in mind. And they assume that you can do the ceiling 250 square feet. And this is based on industry standards, right? This is construction industry standards for painting. And so that labor, keep it, write it down, look at it, keep it forever. You got your doors, and then you see siding smooth and siding rough. 0.004 for smooth, 250 square foot per hour, and then for rough or shingle, 200, right? Okay, so keep that in mind. This is why you get a good cost book, right? Not only for the cost of material, because you're going to always cross-reference that with your supplier, but the main thing is so you can determine accurate labor. So if you know you have 3,500 square feet of smooth wood siding, you're going to multiply this number by 3,500, okay? And that'll be your man-hour total should be per man hour, right? So if whatever it gives you, that's assuming one person is doing it. So what? If you got 2 people, that's 16-hour days, okay? If you've got 3 people, 3 times 8, 24 hours you're going to use in a day to do it, any job. That's how we determine our work breakdown schedules and our construction schedules. That's why they have to have your estimate before they can determine any kind of job, because they don't want to pay people like me to do it. They rather have you do it for them for free, choose you, and then everything is okay because they're basing it on what the expert has to say, you, the painter. Okay, so the expert, the painter, has to make sure that they have the right information to do, so you don't cheat yourself out of anything and you don't overbid, and then you are very competitive. That's the whole key. All right, so painting, I got really into that one. That's good though. Okay, that's good. You're gonna be an estimator, you should really like it, right? You should love it, actually. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna see, and what I would do, right, as I do this interior elevation, this funky thing, I need to see what's going on with that. If there's a stencil that where I go ahead and I paint the base P206C, but what do? We look in our specifications, because they'll tell us specifications are what tells us the means and methods and application, how we're supposed to do our job. It shows us how we're to perform our scope of work. So I'm sitting here guessing just because I'm looking. I'm a good guesser though after all of this time. All right, so what you want to do when you have a lot of different types of paint, okay, you want to make sure you just take the extra time and do the takeoff per type of paint. And so take up P219, that's going to be a linear total. Okay, P202, linear totals, but then we got the P202, that's in square foot total for the wall. Okay, so keep that in mind when you have a lot of different paints, because guess what? When you win, what do you have to do? You have to go and buy the different paint, and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta go back and do the takeoff again. So save yourself some time, a lot of time. All right, so for the painter, this is like really good. So the base, but then am I painting this? No, those are shelves. I'm just painting the base. That's why you need the room schedule. So you can like, okay, what's going on here? The base, see, that's funky. Crown and base. So I've got the ceiling. That should be, that should show me in the ceiling too if it's crown and base. See, I've got something funky going on here. See, a lot of linear paints. And as you saw from the cost book, right? Linear 0.05, that's most out of everything. Man hour totals, point for to paint, trim, to paint, trim, and post, linears, 0.050 per unit, per linear foot. Look at all of the other ones that you can paint. A ceiling, a wall, baseboards. Okay, but the trim post, you got to go all the way around in the circle, right? So that's why that one. But again, all of your linear ones are pretty much very labor intensive. 0.008, right? As opposed to 0.004, 0.005, you know what I mean? Bookcases, yeah, that's the whole bookcase. Cabinets. So yeah, 0.011 because we're talking cabinets. Okay, so yeah, that's more than linear, but look at the linear. The linear paint totals are always the most labor intensive because you have to be very accurate. You got to line it up. Okay, keep that in mind. And so if you got a lot of linears on your estimate, you're going to make some good money, but be ready to have a lot of tape. All right, so let's go back. All right, open. So yeah, that's why you need the interior elevation views open. So from the plan view from up here, you don't know that that's open. So to do this is like amazing. This is a great paint job. Let me tell you. This I'm questioning. But then we're going to come back with another video on the specifications and the finishes and what's there. Because yeah, you're going to look for if you're doing any finish trade, you're going to look through there and it's going to tell you exactly how to apply everything and when and everything. So we'll look through. I never go through the actual specs with the plans that I use, but we'll try to do that. And look at that. So start point of dot stencil. Yeah, so we got the stencil. We paint the wall. That's interesting. Okay, that's a good one. I mean, I just like to bid stuff just to see if you get it, and then it's like, oh, okay. That's I like doing this because it's fun. All right, so wall finishes, right? Wall, whatever. So I mean, you can use the finish plan for your wall bases. You don't have, and I normally don't use the interior elevation views for wall base. I mean, I just don't because it's probably just once I do the wall, the floor finish. Okay, I'm like, okay, let me just, okay, let's show you a symbol that's very interesting when you have a lot of intricacies in your plans and you got a very fancy kind of place. And so what that is telling us is that the wall covering 167 extends from this point, and then you just follow the arrow to here only. So whatever wall covering 167 is, probably those bubbles or whatever. Okay, so that's how they show you. And then of course the sweeping arms are the whole floor. Okay, so they show you, look, they give you this long thing to show you. We're talking about this transition right here. Transition number 7. Okay, so this is a very finish labor intensive project for sure. This floor covering is very deep. Okay, and floors is our last video on the finishes, and then we'll do one on the specifications for the finishes. Okay, so walls. So we need to look at our finish floor plan because that's going to give us all of our, everything on everywhere. And then there should be a finished schedule for each of the rooms. And then, for your walls, you don't want to do anything other than take measurements from your interior elevations, because for all of those paint colors, you'll be lost trying to guess, and you'll be very off. And see, in something like this, is this a column that has a vertical in, like is it going in and we can't see it type of thing? So, you want to give a little extra percentage, maybe 10% above for this type of stuff that is not shown in great detail. Oh, there is a section view. There's a section view. C10.01. Image 10. Image C. Let's go to 10.0. Where is it? Yeah, let's look at that section view. Image C, A10.01. What page are we on? 10.01. So over here. Down here. Down here. Image C. Alright, let's find C. Dun dun. Dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Here we go. Alright, so what we got? And we cut that right down the middle of that, whatever that is. And no, it's just the wall. There's no vertical, no part in here that I was thinking, oh, that's it's just, slab wall, it's a panel. I'm thinking, oh, it's a column with a round distance here, but see, our section view proves no, it is not, right? So that's good. Okay, trim, trim, trim. See, this is crazy. It would be nice if the supplier would supply all of this trim. Otherwise, this is crazy. Look how you gotta put it in there. That's crazy. But guess what? That's why McDonald's bathroom doors are rickety, because people don't really follow. They just say, oh, I know how to put this up. And then, 2 years later, it starts to get loose. So you got to really make sure you're looking at plan view, section view, detail view. This showing us here, okay, what's this supposed to be? Let's get a little closer. That's a detail view without having a number. Showing you the little clippies. Alright, so wall finishes, deep, intensive, especially with something like this. A Victoria's Secret where it's all fancy and cute. You want to make sure you have it right, because you want to get paid. Alright, any questions on wall finishes? See, there's a tons of it. This is the exterior elevation, the storefront actually. And so I would use this for our final cleaning, because we have to clean all these windows. So this is something I'd look at, and then I'm going to look at E, see what they're talking about here in this section view. What is it sticking out? How's it going to be? Is it going to be painted? I don't know. Let's see. They got all keynotes, so we'd have to read those and see what it's telling us to do. Exterior wall, interior walls, but yes, wall finishes, you have to have good interior elevation markers and views so you can properly do your takeoff. And especially when you've got a zillion different paints, you want to make sure you do a takeoff for whether, if it's in this case we have this P214 that's linear, and you see the difference in the labor when we're talking about a linear total as opposed to when we are painting an area. And especially a wall. A wall is going to be your lowest labor rate. Ceilings next, and trim is third. Alright, so any questions? Give me your thoughts too about this. Any questions, put in the comments. I'll make sure I answer. Make sure to subscribe. Please do. I put all this together in my head just to give it to you 13 years later. So, I got to play music, and please tell me your thoughts on the music. I thought that was good. Music is good for your soul, your mind, and your body, and takes you to some place you may need to go so you can relax for a minute. But yes, next video, we're going to talk about floor finishes. We will see you next time.